Ladies and gentlemen, success does not come to the one who wants it. It comes to the one who becomes worthy of it. You do not chase success. You become the person who attracts it like a magnet. The results you want in life are not out there. They are waiting for you to step into your higher self and claim them. It starts with a purpose. A man or woman without a definite purpose is like a ship without a rudder, tossed by the waves, driven by the winds of circumstance. But when you choose a burning desire, a goal so strong it consumes your every thought, you send out a signal that the universe cannot ignore. What you think, you become. Your dominating thoughts shape your destiny. Control your mind, or it will control you. If you allow doubt, fear, or laziness to rule, you will live in the shadow of what could have been. But if your mind is filled with courage, faith, and discipline, you will command results. Success demands commitment. Not interest, commitment. The kind that makes you burn the ships and remove all exits. The kind that says, I will win or I will die trying, but I will never quit. Every great man or woman has reached a point where retreat was no longer an option. But desire alone is not enough. You must take immediate, relentless action. Act with urgency. Act with power. Success belongs to the one who moves before he is ready, who acts even when uncertain, and who grows stronger through motion. And do not walk alone. Align yourself with power. Build a mastermind alliance. Surround yourself with those who think big, talk vision, and move with boldness. No one climbs to the peak of success by themselves. Iron sharpens iron. Every second, you are either becoming the magnet of success or the victim of mediocrity. There is no in-between. So I ask you, who are you becoming? Because when you become the person who attracts success, success will have no choice but to find you. Now go and become that person. Success is not pursued. It is attracted by who you become. The world does not reward the one who runs hardest. It rewards the one who runs with precision, clarity, and purpose. A man can spend his entire life chasing success, chasing money, chasing recognition, and still die empty. Because chasing is a signal to the universe that you do not yet possess the power to command what you desire. You do not chase what belongs to you. You prepare for it. You align with it. You elevate your inner world until what you want has no choice but to be drawn to you. The game was never about running faster. It was always about transforming your identity. The person you are today has attracted the life you live right now. Not the one you wish you were, not the one you pretend to be on the outside, the one you truly are on the inside. Your thoughts, your beliefs, your habits, your standards. These are the forces shaping your reality. You don't attract success with effort alone. You attract it with alignment. You cannot lie to life. You cannot fake discipline. You cannot fake mindset. You cannot fake energy. What you project is what you attract. Mediocrity is not a circumstance, it's a vibration. Greatness is not a gift, it's a frequency. And you either rise to meet it or you stay where you are. If success is not finding you, it's because who you are does not yet match the level of success you're asking for. The doors will not open until you become the one who can walk through them. You attract success by raising your standards so high that failure becomes unnatural. You become magnetic when your identity is built on certainty, not wishful thinking. You don't speak about goals, you live them. You don't ask for motivation, you wake up with it. You don't wait for opportunities, you create them. You become undeniable. And when you are undeniable, success has no choice but to find you. You are not entitled to anything you haven't earned through personal transformation. The level of results you want is guarded by the version of yourself you refuse to become. Every weakness you ignore is a gate that will never open. Every excuse you justify is a chain that keeps you where you are. Success is not seduced by talk. It is drawn to mastery, to conviction, to those who pay the price in advance. You must become the person who lives as if what they want is already theirs. Act as the version of you who is already there. Think like him, move like her, speak with power, walk with clarity, cut off distractions, stop negotiating with laziness. You cannot attract success if you're still living like the person who tolerates average. You cannot attract greatness if you're still feeding your fears more than your faith. There is a gravity to success. It pulls toward those who are obsessed with becoming more, doing more, living sharper, cleaner, harder. It moves toward those who operate in alignment with truth. Not trends, not hype, not shortcuts. Success is pulled in by discipline, consistency, and an inner fire that does not burn out when things get hard. It comes to the one who is ready. And readiness is not a feeling, it's a decision. You build this attraction power by mastering the fundamentals. Your mindset must be locked in like steel. Your purpose must be so definite, so specific, that it dominates your thinking. Your actions must be fast, decisive, and daily. There is no room for hesitation in a mind built for results. Every moment you delay, you weaken the magnetic pull between you and your vision. But when you move with urgency, with faith, with focus, you compress time, you accelerate the process, you close the gap. Understand that people are not rewarded for effort, they are rewarded for becoming. The man who becomes strong, disciplined, strategic, and bold attracts opportunities, allies, wealth, and power without chasing them. His energy introduces him before he speaks. His standards push people to level up or get out of his way. He does not hope for success, he expects it, because he has become the one success is looking for. And it's not about appearances. It's not about pretending to be confident. It's not about talking louder or moving faster. It's about becoming so aligned internally that your thoughts, beliefs, and actions are moving in perfect synchronization toward your goal. When your inner world is clear, focused, and certain, your outer world follows. That is how attraction works. That is how results are pulled in, not by force, but by identity. You must eliminate everything in you that contradicts your vision. Every excuse, every fear, every small habit, every weak environment, every voice that tells you to slow down, to take it easy, to wait, these are enemies, not annoyances, not harmless distractions, enemies, because they pull your energy downward, and what pulls you down repels everything you want. You must protect your power, guard your attention like your life depends on it, because it does. Success is not impressed by talk. It is not moved by emotion. It does not respond to wishing or hoping or visualizing without action. It bows only to the one who does the work, relentlessly, with no applause, no recognition, no validation, just vision and execution day after day. The one who is obsessed with progress, allergic to mediocrity, and unwilling to break promises made in private. That is who success moves toward, and when you become that person, results come faster, people come stronger, ideas come clearer, opportunities come greater, not because the world changed, but because you did. And when you change, everything around you must adjust. The world is simply responding to the signal you send. You are either attracting your destiny or pushing it away. There is no neutral state. Definiteness of purpose is the starting point of all achievement. Until your purpose is clear, your power is scattered. You can have talent, skill, ambition, and drive, but without direction, you go nowhere. You can climb mountains, break limits, and move fast, but if you don't know exactly where you're going, you're only speeding up your arrival to the wrong destination. Success begins when you decide what you want so clearly, so specifically, so unshakably, that every thought and action becomes a servant to that one decision. Vague goals create vague results. A man who says, I want to be successful, has already failed. A man who says, I will build a business that earns $10 million in the next 5 years by solving this exact problem in this exact market, is already moving. Power begins the moment you become specific. The moment you burn the fog from your mind and lock in on a definite purpose, everything around you starts to bend in your direction. People feel it. Circumstances shift. Resources start to appear. Not because of luck, but because clarity creates force. No one drifts their way to greatness. No one stumbles into domination. You either command your direction or get lost in someone else's. Most people have preferences, not purpose. They like the idea of winning, but they haven't decided to. They're interested in success, but they haven't married it. Preferences are weak. They fall apart under pressure, but purpose is different. Purpose survives storms. It outlasts obstacles. It pushes back when life tries to take from you. Purpose is the fire that doesn't go out. When your purpose is definite, your energy is automatic. You don't need motivation. You don't need outside permission. You wake up with a target and you hit it. If you miss, you reload and fire again. You don't wonder if you're on the right path because you already decided the path. Indecision kills power. Clarity amplifies it. Most people lose time because they're constantly starting over. Every week a new goal. Every day a new distraction. They confuse movement with progress, but movement without purpose is wasted energy. The universe does not reward the unsure. It rewards the committed. It rewards the one who knows exactly what they want, why they want it, and what they're willing to do to get it. And if your answer is anything less than whatever it takes, then you are not ready. Because definiteness of purpose means burning all escape routes. It means cutting off every plan B. It means deciding that you will win or you will die trying, but you will not quit. You will not retreat and you will not bend. Definiteness of purpose means your decisions are made. Your mind is not open to negotiation. You don't need to ask 5 people for opinions. You don't need validation. You know where you're going. You've seen it in your mind. You've built it in your imagination. And now every action, every conversation, every habit is either taking you closer or pushing you away. And you have the awareness to cut what doesn't belong. You no longer tolerate noise. You no longer entertain the mediocre. Your life becomes lean, sharp, and directed, like a missile locked on target. Purpose creates speed, not the speed of chaos, but the speed of precision. You don't waste time scrolling. You don't get pulled into gossip. You don't drift in and out of meaningless loops. You move with intention. You speak with direction. You work with intensity, because you know the cost of drifting. You know how much time is stolen by the unfocused. You understand that without purpose, years can disappear while you're still figuring it out. And that is the luxury the hungry do not afford. Definiteness of purpose is the reason some people do more in 5 years than others do in a lifetime. Because it eliminates the unnecessary. It turns your life into a weapon. It makes you magnetic. People can feel it in your presence. They feel the difference between someone who is kind of in and someone who is all in. They feel the difference between the one who is interested in results and the one who is obsessed with them. Definite purpose cannot be faked. It's not in your words. It's in your energy. It's not in your plan. It's in your posture. The world bends to the one who knows exactly where they are going. And you don't need to know every step. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to decide the destination. That one decision changes your life. It forces growth. It forces decisions. It filters everything. If it doesn't align with the mission, it dies. If it doesn't contribute to the vision, it gets deleted. Definite purpose simplifies everything. You stop living wide and you start living deep. You stop being available to everyone and you start becoming accountable to your future. You stop reacting and you start creating. Because when your mind locks in, your world moves. Control your thoughts, they become your reality. Every result in your life is the fruit of a thought, planted, nurtured, and repeated until it hardened into belief and drove behavior. The world you live in is not out there. It is built from the thoughts you allow to dominate your mind. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are a product of what you've allowed to live inside your head. Every limitation you feel, every pattern you repeat, every failure you accept was first born in the mind before it ever became real in your life. You cannot live a powerful life with a weak mind. You cannot create abundance with thoughts of scarcity. You cannot walk in purpose while thinking in confusion. Your thoughts are the foundation of everything. And if the foundation is cracked, the structure will collapse, no matter how much effort you apply. Discipline begins in the mind. Focus begins in the mind. Confidence, clarity, execution, consistency. They all start in the thoughts you permit, entertain, and repeat until they become automatic. Your mind is either your greatest weapon or your worst enemy. Thoughts are not harmless. They are seeds. And every seed you plant will produce something. You don't get to skip the harvest. You don't get to think in fear and expect to act in faith. You don't get to think in doubt and expect results built on certainty. Every single day you are planting, the question is, what are you growing? Are you allowing weakness to take root? Are you feeding narratives that keep you small? Are you repeating stories in your mind that keep you from becoming who you know you're capable of being? You cannot expect change while living with the same thought patterns that built the old version of you. You must become a different thinker to create a different life. You must upgrade your inner language. Your self-talk cannot be casual. It cannot be accidental. It must be designed with precision, because your subconscious does not filter for truth. It accepts repetition. Say something long enough and your nervous system will believe it. And once belief is locked in, behavior will follow. This is why people stay stuck. They change their goals, but never change the thought loops running silently underneath. The problem isn't the strategy, it's the software. The disciplined mind is a dangerous force. It cannot be manipulated by circumstances. It cannot be seduced by fear. It cannot be controlled by other people's opinions. It runs on intention. It's too busy building to be distracted, too focused to be moved by petty things, too aware to waste time on emotional reactions that add no value. When your thoughts are aligned with power, your life begins to reflect it. You walk different. You talk different. You enter rooms with a presence that speaks before you do. You stop explaining yourself and start executing. Everything changes when you take full ownership of your mental environment. You start filtering what enters your head with the same intensity you'd use to protect a vault full of gold. You stop allowing garbage to play on loop. You don't scroll mindlessly. You don't feed on negativity. You don't engage in conversations that pull you backward. You know that thoughts become moods, moods become habits, and habits become your life. So you audit your thoughts like a CEO audits numbers, ruthlessly, relentlessly, with zero tolerance for mental waste. Control means awareness. It means catching the thought before it becomes a feeling, before it takes over your state, before it hijacks your momentum. It means replacing weakness with power on command, not once, every time. It means drilling the right thoughts into your mind so frequently they become your default setting. And when you do it long enough, you don't have to force confidence. It becomes your baseline. You don't have to fake strength. It flows through you because you trained your mind to support your mission, not sabotage it. The world doesn't happen to you, it happens through you. And your thoughts are the filter through which you experience it. Change the filter, and the world changes. Change the thought, and the problem shrinks. Build a dominant thought pattern of growth, hunger, certainty, and execution, and you'll build a dominant life. But as long as you let your thoughts run wild, driven by emotion, steered by fear, influenced by noise, you'll keep spinning in the same cycle of frustration and missed potential. You don't get what you wish for. You get what you think about most. Think in alignment with your goals and your actions will follow. Think in power and your words will carry weight. Think in vision and your time will be used with precision. Thoughts are the beginning of all transformation. No change is possible until you win the battle in your head. No success will last unless your mind is built to sustain it. Discipline your thoughts and your life will obey. Let them run loose and nothing else will matter. Burn the ships. Commit with no retreat. You do not leave the back door open when you're serious about winning. You do not keep a safety net when you're building a new identity. The second you allow an escape route, your mind starts negotiating with it. Your body shows back, but your spirit holds back. Your effort is split, and split effort will never create full power. When you're truly committed, quitting isn't even on the menu. It doesn't matter how hard it gets. It doesn't matter how long it takes. The decision has already been made. There's a different energy in a person who has no way out. There's a hunger, a focus, a fight that only shows up when the option to retreat is completely removed. You think clearer, you move faster, you stop waiting, you stop hoping, you stop playing with your potential like it's a game. When there's no plan B, plan A gets done. Most people never reach the next level because they're always looking over their shoulder, always checking the map to see if they can turn back, always making sure the bridge is still intact. Burn the bridge. Burn the backup. Burn the comfort zone that keeps lying to you. You don't need another strategy. You need a real decision. One that cuts off all other options. One that draws a line so deep in your mind that you don't have to keep thinking about it. You just move. You execute. You adapt. You overcome. Because when your mind knows there is no other option, it will find a way. But when retreat is available, weakness will use it. Doubt will sneak through it. Fear will camp in it, and eventually that retreat becomes your reality. You weren't built to live halfway. You weren't built to play safe. Safety is an illusion created by the weak to justify not risking. The ones who make history are the ones who go all in with no exit, all in with no excuses, all in with no turning back. You want to be remembered, you want to be respected, you want to know what it feels like to actually fulfill your potential, then step into the fire with both feet and don't look back. Destroy the lifeline, tear up the backup plan, and then go build the thing you said you would build. Become the person you said you would become, no matter what stands in your way. Commitment is not a feeling. It's a decision followed by action over and over again, regardless of the mood, regardless of the weather, regardless of how tired you are, how discouraged you get, or how far away the finish line looks. This isn't about hype. This is about grit. This is about doing the work even when it doesn't feel good. This is about showing up when no one's watching, grinding when no one's clapping, pushing when everyone else would have stopped. That's what real commitment looks like. You make the vow and you live it with every breath, and you'll be tested. You'll want to quit. You'll have days where nothing works, where everything breaks, where people walk away, where your results look like failure. Good. That's part of the process. That's the universe checking your resolve. That's life making sure you're serious. You don't get the reward without paying the price, and the price is simple, total commitment. Not sometimes, not until it gets uncomfortable, not until something easier shows up. Total, until it is done. Burning the ships means you're not hoping this works. You are making it work. There is no if, only when. No, shall I keep going? Only what's the next step? It means your entire being is locked into the mission. Your identity begins to align with the outcome. You start thinking like the person who's already there, talking like them, moving like them, because you already decided that future is not a possibility. It's inevitable, and that belief, backed by ruthless commitment, is what builds results that make the world stop and take notice. The reason people stay average is because they keep giving themselves permission to quit. They don't say it out loud, but it's in their habits. It's in their attitude, it's in the way they delay decisions, avoid risks, and cling to comfort. And as long as that retreat option exists, they'll always have one foot out. Always doubting, always hesitating, always giving themselves the emotional back door labeled maybe later. But the winners, the real ones, they slam the door shut, lock it, melt the key, and toss it into the ocean. You know what happens when you go all in? You evolve fast. You stretch past your limits because you have no choice. You discover a level of grit and creativity that most people never tap into because they never had to. You don't just survive, you get sharper, tougher, smarter. Your instincts sharpen, your decisions improve. You find strength in places you didn't know existed because pressure forces you to rise. Burn the ships, and you'll meet the real you. The you that can't be stopped. The you that doesn't run. The you that finishes the fight. Develop unwavering faith and take immediate action. That is the formula. Not faith someday, not action after perfection. Now, immediately, with certainty so strong, it burns through hesitation. Faith without action is fantasy. Action without faith is wasted motion. But when the two are fused, when belief is unshakable and execution is immediate, nothing stands in your way. Mountains move. Obstacles fold. Momentum explodes. Life begins to obey the one who acts with conviction and refuses to doubt. You either believe or you don't. There is no halfway. There is no in-between. Doubt paralyzes. Faith activates. Doubt drains your energy. Faith multiplies it. If your belief shakes at the first sign of pressure, you never believed in the first place. Faith is forged in challenge. It's proven when nothing around you looks promising, but you still move. You still press forward. You still execute. Because you know the vision in your mind is more real than the circumstances around you. And you refuse to betray that vision by standing still. Real faith is not passive. It's not sitting in silence, hoping things turn around. It's aggressive. It's loud. It's relentless. It demands results. It refuses to wait for permission, resources, applause, or guarantees. Unwavering faith is a force. It bends reality. It shatters statistics. It overrules logic. It makes the impossible possible, not through magic, but through fire-powered focus and consistent movement in the face of all resistance. It believes so strongly that every action becomes unstoppable. That kind of faith doesn't ask, what if I fail? It declares, watch me win. But belief alone is not enough. Belief must become motion. Ideas must become movement. Nothing happens until you act. You can have the greatest vision, the boldest goal, the clearest plan, but if you don't move now, you'll be stuck forever. Most people wait too long. They wait until they feel ready. They wait for the right conditions. They wait for the fear to disappear. That wait becomes their prison. Because the truth is, fear doesn't leave. You outgrow it by walking through it. And that only happens through action. You don't get courage, then act. You act, and then courage shows up. You don't get clarity by thinking. You get clarity by doing. You move. You fall. You adjust. You learn faster in one day of execution than in a month of planning. Speed matters. Delay kills dreams. The faster you move, the faster you learn. The faster you adapt, the faster you win. Perfection is a lie. Progress is the weapon. Take the step, make the call, launch the product, say yes, say no, cut it, build it, do it now, not later, now. Your success will not be determined by how smart you are. It will be determined by how fast you move on what you already know. People talk too much, think too long, wait too often. They have 1,000 dreams and zero action. They collect strategies and never apply them. They read books and change nothing. They confuse knowledge with power. Knowledge is potential. Action is power. Only action transforms. Only action brings results. Only action brings momentum, confidence, and breakthrough. You either take the leap or you stay on the ground wishing. Faith means you stop asking if you're ready. You decide you're ready. You don't need a second opinion. You don't need a perfect plan. You move with what you've got and let your mind catch up. You stop looking for motivation and start acting like the person who wins. You talk like them, think like them, work like them, because the fastest way to believe is to behave like it's already yours. And when you take action from that place, the world starts responding. Doors open, people appear, opportunities unlock. Not because they weren't there before, but because you finally stepped into an alignment. If you hesitate, you lose the window. If you stall, you miss the moment. When faith says go and you listen, power shows up. Timing meets preparation. Effort meets opportunity. Action meets reward. But if you hesitate, the door closes. You overthink. You fall into the trap of paralysis. You start doubting. And that doubt grows until it becomes louder than the dream. That's why immediate action matters. It silences the noise. It interrupts the spiral. It breaks the chains of fear before they harden into excuses. Act before your mind talks you out of it. Everything you want is waiting on the other side of the action you've been avoiding. Everything you are meant to become is hidden inside the discipline of showing up again and again, even when nothing is working, especially when nothing is working. Unwavering faith doesn't mean you always feel good. It means you never give up. Immediate action doesn't mean you know everything. It means you know enough to start. And that start is the signal to the universe that you're serious, that you're done pretending, that you're done negotiating, that you're done living small. Surround yourself with power through a mastermind alliance. Success is never built alone. You can have discipline, vision, hunger, but if you're surrounded by weakness, you will drown in it. You cannot rise while tied to anchors. You cannot expand in a space filled with doubt. The people around you are either sharpening your edge or dulling your blade. They are either pushing you forward or pulling you back. And there's no neutral energy. Every voice in your life is shaping you, molding you, building, or breaking your momentum. That's why your environment must be designed, not defaulted. Power multiplies in the presence of other power. One mind is limited. One perspective is narrow. But when two or more minds come together, aligned in purpose, focused in direction, and committed to the same level of execution, a new force is created. That force can move markets, dominate industries, bend reality. A mastermind is not a group of friends. It's not a social club. It's a circle forged in fire, built with intention, bound by results. It is the alliance of minds refusing to operate in mediocrity, It is the convergence of belief, discipline, strategy, and execution shared and expanded by every member. If you are the sharpest in the room, you're in the wrong room. If no one around you challenges your thinking, pushes your limits, questions your pace, you're not growing. If your circle is made up of people who make excuses, talk problems, think small, and avoid risk, then you are suffocating in their energy and calling it friendship. Proximity is power. Energy is contagious. You cannot expect to carry the mindset of a lion while walking with sheep. You cannot stay on fire while being soaked in their comfort. The mastermind is where iron sharpens iron, where war plans are made, where limitations are confronted and burned to the ground. Greatness thrives in aligned conversation, in the exchange of ideas with people who refuse to lose, in the presence of others who understand that the standard is non-negotiable. When you sit at that table, you rise whether you want to or not, because the standard around you forces you to become more. Every word carries weight. Every plan gets refined. Every weakness is exposed and upgraded. There's no pretending in the mastermind, no acting like you're doing the work. You either bring value or you're out. You either grow or you get replaced. That pressure is what makes it powerful. You don't just find these people, you attract them by who you become. You become disciplined, you'll attract discipline. You speak with clarity and you'll find those who think with precision. You move with speed and you'll connect with those who are building at a different frequency. But if your mindset is still casual, if your goals are vague, if your habits are sloppy, then you'll only ever connect with others playing at that same low level. Raise your personal standard and your circle will follow. Become valuable, and the mastermind will find you. This is not about popularity, it's about power. It's about creating an environment so aligned with execution that even on your worst day, you still move forward. It's about having people around you who don't let you slip, who don't let you coast, who call you out when your energy drops. It's about alignment so tight that no time is wasted on complaining, gossip, or distractions. Every conversation is a strategy session. Every connection is a resource. Every alliance is a multiplier. In that space, time moves faster. Results come quicker. Decisions get clearer because you're no longer carrying the weight of the world alone. You're backed by a force greater than yourself. The most dangerous place to operate from is isolation. You start believing your own doubts. You start overthinking simple moves. You hesitate when you should dominate. You question the vision. You shrink the goal, not because you're weak, but because you're alone. The enemy loves silence, loves secrecy, loves the lone wolf mentality. But a real mastermind destroys isolation. It replaces it with precision dialogue, constant feedback, and the powerful knowledge that you are not the only one carrying the mission. When the vision is shared, the load gets lighter, the path gets clearer, and the pace gets faster. Look around your life. Audit your conversations. Who challenges you? Who holds you to a higher level? Who won't let you slip back into old patterns? Who shows you what's possible just by how they live? Who speaks in a way that stirs up your next level? Who brings you answers instead of excuses? That's your circle. That's your alliance. And if they're not in your life yet, build yourself until you become the person they're looking for. Because the mastermind doesn't chase, it attracts. It doesn't beg, it builds. And when it moves with force. Everything changes when the right minds connect. What felt overwhelming becomes a strategy. What felt impossible becomes a target. What felt like fear becomes fuel. Because now you're not alone. You're surrounded by execution, surrounded by vision, surrounded by warriors who don't flinch, don't fold, don't fade. And when your mind unites with theirs, when your energy fuses with their drive, a new power is born. And from that place, anything can be built. So stop chasing success. Become it. Mold yourself into the kind of person success is magnetized to.